Hi guys, it's Amber here. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're not new, welcome back. I did start an intro before this, but I just wanted to start it that way as well. So I figured we can come and talk here. I'll just, sit in my kitchen and film because it has really good lighting here. Sorry, my hair looks like crap. It's like, just wants to be weird today, so I just drew it up in this little weird contraption here, just to like make it a little presentable, just a little bit. So I wanted to get some things straightened out here. Screw it, I'm just gonna take it down. You guys are just gonna see the crappiness of my hair right now. So I just wanted to get some things straightened out here. So pretty much, this is going to be my breastfeeding story. I'm going to be explaining a lot of stuff about me breastfeeding. So let's get started. So for all of you who do not know, because this is a story time, and I don't know how many people are going to be coming and watching this. I don't know how many people are going to be searching up this specific thing. So let's pretty much get everything cleared. My name is Amber. I have a son named Gus. He is about to be 4 months. I'm 17 and I'm also married as well. I got pregnant at 16, and then I turned 17 after I kind of found out I was pregnant. It's a joy being a mother. I wouldn't go back even if I had a wish. My wish would be that we all can have a house. It wouldn't be to get rid of him, because I am absolutely in love with my son. I'm very happy that I'm a mother, and I'm very happy I'm taking on the challenge of being a mother because it's not easy. My son has been breastfeeding since he has been born. But here's another side to my story. So I'm going to go back to the day that I was in the hospital. So when I was in the hospital, the second he was born, he was not on me. I got no skin-to-skin action. I got nothing. I didn't see my son till 2 hours after he was born. He didn't even feed till 4 hours after he was born because they wouldn't let him. So pretty much, I didn't get my milk to produce as fast enough. I kept trying to latch him. I had a lactation come in and take my breast and shove it into his mouth. He wanted no parts of it. The labor and delivery room was amazing, but the postpartum room was not. The labor and delivery, the lactation was so nice, so sweet. You know, she was trying to help me. I told her I'd like to do it on my own, so she left. I kept trying and trying, and he wouldn't latch on. He had such a tiny mouth, so it was very hard to shove it in there. And every time he started sucking and sucking and sucking, he'd stop. So then the second I got to the postpartum room lactation consultant was very mean. She didn't want to show up the first time I called. I called 3 different times, and the reason why I didn't show up is because somebody decided to tell them that I didn't want a lactation. Apparently, I denied a lactation, which was such a lie because I needed help. I was a 17-year-old mother who was trying to breastfeed for the very first time in her life and was pretty much begging for help, but nobody was coming to answer her call. So my sister came, who breastfed for 3 weeks, and then she was getting really bad blisters. She was bleeding all the time. So pretty much she gave up on that. But she was doing good for the first time, so she was helping me get his latch, and it was working. But then the whole time she left, nobody was coming to help me with the breastfeeding, and he was starving. So something I do hate saying that I did, I'm okay with that. I'm going to live with it because I was just trying to be a mom. And sometimes, you know, you can't do things that you want to do. Well, for all of you who do not know, I don't accept formula. I don't like formula. I don't like the concept of it. I don't like the effects of it. I don't like how it fills your child to the max. I just don't like it. So my chance was just to breastfeed the whole time. And if that didn't work, then it was the pumping. So while I was in the hospital, I did have to supplement with formula. It wasn't through a bottle. It wasn't through anything else other than a syringe. A syringe that you just suck up and you squeeze it in his mouth. So what you were doing was you were just taking a binky and putting it in his mouth and going to the side. And every time you suck the binky, you squirt a little bit in. Well, we were doing that the first day in the hospital. The night of the hospital, we were also, we did it for one day at home. Then I stopped because I was able to produce milk and I got a pump. So I started pumping. For 2 months straight, I was pumping with my Ameda pump. Now, we'll go to the pump part and explain like my pumping, but after 2 months, I was just like, whoa, like this is like a big commitment. This is a big thing that you have to do. When you are pumping, you have to continue to pump. You have to pump every 2 hours. You have to wake up and pump every 2 hours. If not 2 hours, it has to be 3, because if not, you're just screwing up your supply and your son's not going to be able to eat, or your daughter's not going to be able to eat because you didn't make enough. So you had to be on top of your pumping. You had to be on top of your drinking water, your eating, your prenatal vitamins. You had to be up on every little thing that you had. I did not like pumping. I did not like the concept of having to wash your things every time and to have to make sure that it's not sitting on the couch to where your dog can come, because I lost a part to one of my pumps, which I'll get to that eventually. It was just such a struggle because you had to make sure these things were done. And here's another thing. You needed storage bags. You needed bottles that can go in the refrigerator and keep your milk. And you had to make sure those were clean, you know? You had to make sure you wrote the date on it. And it was just so much work. I didn't like the concept of that. And after 2 months, I fell out of love with that. And I wasn't going to go to formula. So what I did was I tried the breast. And this is how I became to the breast. So with my pump, I had the Ameda pump. And if you are really familiar with your pumps and you're a mom, well, the top part that pops onto your pump, there's a little silicone thing that goes inside for the actual suction to happen. Well, my dog stepped on my pump that I left out because the baby was screaming and I didn't have time to put my pump away. Well, that part got lost and I couldn't find it anywhere. The stores, nothing. No store had it. The only way that I could have got it from was Ameda.com, Amazon, and that's it. That's the only 2 places you could have found it. Well, I didn't have time for that. I did order one off of Amazon and I had the 2-day shipping because I had Prime, but that didn't work. That didn't work at all. So what I personally had to do was I personally had to try and see if he latched on. And now that he has a bigger mouth, he's got a bigger latch, and he started doing it. Breastfeeding saved me so much time. I feel like I'm not stressed anymore. I have this big thing lifted off of my shoulders. It's like a miracle because he wasn't latching before. It was like impossible to get him to latch. And the pumping, my breasts were getting cracked. They were hurting. It just, I fell out of love with pumping. It wasn't for me anymore. I haven't touched my pump in almost over 2 months. I haven't touched my breast pump. I don't pump at all anymore. I have supply in the freezer, a lot of supply. It's just sitting there because I'm not going to use it. I hate pumping. Now I'm going to have to start pumping because I am going to go back to work, which isn't going to be for long because I would like to still be a mother. I don't want, and I don't want it, I don't want to pump at all. I hate pumping. It saved me time at night. I don't have to wake up with him and then afterwards not be able to go back to sleep because I have to go straight downstairs and pump. And I have to wait there for 20 to almost 30 minutes pumping and pumping and pumping, and it just never ended. It's an amazing experience, and it's an amazing bond with your son. And it's just amazing to be anywhere in the world, and to just have a cover and put it over you and grab your son and attach him to your breast, and boom, he's feeding. You don't have to bring heated water and make sure that's the right temperature, sit there and wait while he's screaming because he's hungry. I could just pull out my breast and boom, he's eating. It's so simple, it's so easy, and it's just amazing. You know, I'm very happy that I'm able to do this now. And it's pretty good experience. So that is my breastfeeding story. Now we're just going to go to little minor questions. Now, how do I keep my milk supply up in the freezer? Well, what I was doing before was every time I pumped, I normally got some on here and some on here. Now, what I did was I would take the one from here and put it in the freezer, and take the one from here and put it in the refrigerator, because one breast is always bigger than the other. My left breast is bigger, is smaller than my right. So my right produces more, my left produces less. So I put the more in the refrigerator because my son was eating 5 ounces every now and again, 4.5. And this one was producing about 3 to 3.5 to almost 4. So I would just put this one in the freezer. And at night, when he was asleep and I still had some in the refrigerator, I would just put that in the freezer. So that was a pretty good, easy supply. And I have enough right now, a lot actually. So pretty much, that's how you keep your supply up. But how do you actually keep your supply in your breast? How do you actually produce enough for your son? Well, something that you always have to keep up on, which is very hard for me to remember, is to always drink water. Always take your prenatal vitamins, and always eat healthy foods, because that produces your milk a lot more, and it just keeps going. I also have something called a mother's tea, which I will link down below as well. The mother's tea, you can actually make cold or hot. I make it cold, like iced tea. And you drink about 3 cups when you have lost your supply, and it will gain your supply back up. That is my lifesaver. There's also something called a fenugreek pill, which is what's in the mother's tea, and you just use that. I didn't really like those because they gave me high migraines, and the fenugreek itself does give you a pretty bad migraine, but you know to deal with it after a while you've been drinking it. But other than that, that's how I keep my supply up when it comes to if it's gone down so low. But because I'm breastfeeding now, he's on my breast about every an hour and a half to 2 hours. He doesn't fall asleep without my breast anymore. He can't get comfortable at all. So he uses my breast for comfort all the time. And every time he cries, I just attach it to him and he stops. So it's pretty much a lifesaver for everything now. So I think that pretty much is everything that I needed to answer for breastfeeding. It's an amazing experience, and for all the people who have done it and quit or are still doing it, even if you did it for a day, at least you did it, because some people don't even get the chance to do it, or don't even want to, or don't even want to try. And I can tell you, it is very painful, and it is so hard, because you get cracked nipples, you know, you have to worry about having a clogged milk duct, and you know, it's so hard and difficult. So, you know, it's just an amazing experience, and I couldn't change it for the world, because I'm glad that I'm doing it every day. So, thank you all for watching my breastfeeding story. If there's any more questions about breastfeeding or anything around the lines of that, please let me know, because I'm not sure if I kind of, you know, filled every question that could be out there. I'm sure there's more, but that's the only ones that I can think of on top of my head. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my story. And if you guys want to see more story times, I'll be glad to do more. I'd like to do in depth of my hospital story, because that is a very tragic slash sad slash like depressing moment that I had in my lifetime, that I wish could have been more of a happier experience. But if you guys want to hear more about that, just let me know. I'm probably going to do it anyways if nobody even lets me know, because that is a story time that I think I just want to get out there. So yeah, so I will see you guys soon, and yeah, bye guys.